Hi, my little Queemites, it's your girl Queemie Jones back live in the flesh. And yes, as I have seen in the comments, I've read that you guys want more food content. But before we start with food, we have to go ahead and hit the seasonings. And before we hit the seasonings, we have to have the salt, okay? The sodium, the flavor, okay? Before you even think about adding anything, talking about you want to feed it to me, you need to make sure you put some salt on it first, okay? That is essential to every good dish that I've had, okay? And you always know what they say. This needs a little bit more salt in it. And we tired of hearing that white mess. And honestly, I've had a lot of different types of salt in my life. And I had done a story earlier this week, and what was a common thing I noticed in everybody's cabinet was iodized salt. And I said on my story, I said, go to your cabinet and get your iodized salt and try it. I'm gonna insert the video. I need you to go to your cabinets right now and get your iodized salt out and ask yourself, why am I still using this? Why? Does it even taste good? Pull some out in your hand and lick it right quick. And you tell me if that iodized salt don't taste bitter to you. Do it. It's gonna pop up. And just to prove how nasty this video could have gone if we just went with the iodized salt, I'm gonna eat some iodized salt. Now we keep all our packets in our household because just in case apocalypse happens, salt is salt. But this is a salt and pepper packet, alright? Can you see it, ladies and gentlemen? Salt and pepper. I'm going to show you what's in the salt. There's a lot of other things in salt in here, ladies and gentlemen. But to show you why we just keep it in the packet, because I have to do this just for the bizarre food effect. Why we don't use this anymore is,
girl, duh,
that beneficial bitter taste. Now you might have squeaked this in your mouth when you lost a tooth when you were younger, but unless you are prone to having iodine deficiencies or and scared of goiter, or you know, something's up with your thyroid, we don't use iodized salt no more, okay? It doesn't have any true beneficial flavor, okay? And the smaller crystals, the more sodium there is. Look it up. The bigger the crystals, like with kosher salt,
Diamond Crystal,
less sodium. And you use a lot less of this. I use this every day. All day. Not all day, because who needs all that sodium? We don't want to be swelled up. And that's another common thing. I don't want you to think that I'm over here swelling up my family, ballooning them up and sending them off to the sky with a sodium overload. What I'm telling you is this is used as flavor. Just like, you know, you might drink every so often. You might, you know, hang out at the spa every so often. You flavor your food up a little more every so often, and everybody loves a little bit of extraness in their day-to-day life. And this is how I pamper myself, okay? This is how I love myself, because I do flavor food, okay? Now, it's another thing if I can't walk out the house without it, and if I can't have my fruit without it, I can't have any dish without it. You know, we have what's called a balance, and this is why we use kosher salt, because this is a lighter grasp on the sodium intake. And like I said, just because I use it doesn't mean it's the only thing we do around here. We have to change it up. And every so often we go saltless. But if we have to go saltless, we always bring it back with the seed. Okay? Sometime in the coarse manner. We might need to
She coarse.
grill for real and just top this off with, our grilling. And if you're really fancy, you might make it some salted caramel and you use sea salt. Just every so often. Alright? The reason why, the sea salt is so beautiful and gorgeous is because you just, again, need a little bit. And it's pretty much for show. It's not for flavor always, because you don't want to, kill, your dish with salt. You want to enhance your dish with salt. So this is a great enhancer, just right quick, just to spark it off. And this is great in rubs. So if you are a griller and you want to thrill the crowd, this is what you bring out. You don't just use your regular schmegular kosher salt. Now, one major thing that makes us different in our household is that we don't have table salt. And that's why I'm able to use kosher salt as we do. And I recommend, because we don't use iodized salt no more, is getting yourself some fine sea salt. Fine sea salt.
She's fine.
Fine sea salt is really something that you can use when you're baking, or if you wanted to bring in a table salt alternative. I don't necessarily recommend having table salt. I feel like if you season your food properly, you don't need table salt. But if you're trying to bake something where, for example, the cookies you are making require some fine salt or table salt, you can definitely use sea salt as an alternative. And being that it comes in fine crystals, this is way more beneficial in your day-to-day. With that being said, if you wanted to heighten up your baked goods, you wanted to heighten your grilling, or you just want to flavor up your day-to-day, know that salt is your friend. But also, knowing that oversalting things could be a health hazard, make sure you're reading. And you can even put it in a shaker. You can weigh it out. You can use tablespoons and teaspoons. Whatever your recipe requires, I recommend you really thoroughly looking into it, because you can easily find other salt alternatives, because it does have to be the pinnacle. But just know many people have traveled near and far, traded gold in for salt. You can use it and manage it. With all that being said, I love you guys. I wanted to ensure that the chicken is coming. The stews are coming. And yes, I'm a Southern girl. When I say chicken, I mean fried. When I say stews, I mean gumbo. It's coming. But what we have to get built up is our cabinets. And with the holidays coming, we have salt that we just did. We have the sugars coming in. We're about to see the flowers and all the cool shit I got in store. But you gotta stay tuned. So like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, my little Queemites. Bye, my little Queemites. Bye!